Go. It is time for another edition of Orange and Blue today. I am your host, Cecil Lammey. Andrew Mason on assignment today, although Mace did say he might pop in for a little bit to talk about your Denver Broncos, and it is a bye week. It is a week where we'll all be kind of enjoying a regular weekend of football with no Broncos to disappoint, frustrate, sadden, or excite you, depending on the play of this team. And whenever anyone asks me, like, what are you going to do during the bye week? I'm going to watch football because that's what I do. And with or without the Broncos, it's going to be the same experience, I guess. We'll be, looking forward to what this team looks like coming out of the bye. And on today's program, because I'm riding solo, I was just going to kind of do a brain dump of what this team needs to be when they come out of the bye. What do they need to do? Who do they need to feature? What changes do we need to see? Now, nobody's getting fired, so there's no fantasy of Nathaniel Hackett is removed and Ejiro Evero is named the interim head coach. No, that's not going to be the case. There's not even a fantasy of Butch Berry, the offensive line coach, who I think needs to be replaced. I don't want to say a guy needs to be fired. I don't like anyone to lose their job, but Butch Berry's not good at his job. Butch Berry is, in fact, probably the worst coach on this team because his unit, and Dwayne Stukes would be close for a second. And listen, I like Dwayne Stukes as a gentleman. I like Dwayne Stukes as a motivator, but it's a results-based business, and the results with the special teams are not good at all. Again, seems like every year we're having the same conversation, no matter who the special teams coach is. So, Dwayne Stukes, you're close, but thank goodness for your sake. Butch Berry's tripping up left and right. Butch Berry, again, the offensive line coach, who every single player on the offensive line has regressed. Butch Berry, who's not known as a teacher, but known more as a yeller. And listen, I'm old school, and I know that football is about overweight men and windbreakers yelling at you, but today's NFL is a little bit different. And hey, you can yell all day if you have the results. If your line's playing outstanding, yeah, keep a boot up their backside. Keep going, man. But when you're a yeller and not a teacher, and your offensive line stinks, and all of your players, every single player that you've coached regresses, that's you. That's you, Butch Berry. So, for the Broncos and Broncos fans out there to be thinking like there's going to be some sort of change and we're going to see the staff change. Nope, none of that's going to happen. So what do we need to see happen? If there's not going to be any changes, and there won't be, then what do we need to see happen with this Broncos team? And that's what I would like to accentuate when you go forth and you look at the next 3 games overall, and you think about them being winnable games. And in fact, you look at the Carolina Panthers game, maybe that's the least winnable now based on the way that Carolina is playing. Sans Christian McCaffrey, of course, and with PJ Walker still as their quarterback because Baker Mayfield's healthy. He's just the backup now. But if you look at Titans, a lot to talk about there. If you look at Raiders, less to talk about because they're the Raiders, and the Raiders are going to Raider, and the Raiders suck. The Raiders are a bunch of slappies. And then the Carolina Panthers. So coming out of the bye, things have not been good at all. But you could quickly turn this thing around and build momentum for the last month of the season, which is brutal, which is bad, which features Kansas City twice. You're not going to win those games. Hopefully you would split. I had predicted before the season, of course, when I thought this team would win 10 to 12 games, I predicted a split with the Chargers and a split with the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not feel as confident to say that now based on the play that we've seen from this team. It just hasn't been good enough. So, okay, the next 3 games, they're winnable. And they're games you can come out on top. And then all of a sudden, you go from 3-5 to 6-5. And you're trying to build momentum for those final games, including those brutal ones against Kansas City. So what do we need to see coming out of the bye? And I'll get to the individual games and the matchups they're in and all that sort of things. But what we need to see from the offense, obviously, is more points. But how do you get there? To me, again, being old school, you're going to emphasize the ground game. And I don't really care who it is, even if it's Melvin Gordon, the most hated man on the planet, or at least in Broncos country. I look at it and I go, okay, if it's Gordon, if it's Murray, if it's Chase Edmonds, whatever, just have an emphasis on running the ball, set up play action passing, and then take those deep shots. Russell Wilson wants to take the deep shot. For all the misconceptions there are out there about Russell Wilson, one of those misconceptions is, he will avoid the easy throw and he'll look downfield. Well, yeah, in Seattle, he did that because he kind of had to, because it was like, go win the game, Russ. We can't do anything offensively or defensively. And so he's trying to play hero ball out there. I think if you run the ball, you take away the desire or inclination, I should say, for Russell Wilson to play hero ball. He doesn't need to play hero ball. Instead, he needs to be smart with the football and needs to play within the structure of the offense and within the game plan. Now, is that offense any good? Does it fit him? These are all different conversations. But if you've got Russ out there kind of freelancing, doesn't really work. Now, improvising, yes, but I mean freelancing in terms of like, I'm ignoring the structure of the play so I can just launch passes downfield. If you run the ball, you're automatically going to set up one-on-ones on the outside. You're automatically going to put your receivers in better position. And this is where the receivers, we've got to establish a new pecking order. We've seen with Courtland Sutton, something's wrong with Courtland. I've watched too much of Courtland to say anything else. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know if he's a little bit banged up. I don't know if there's, something personal going on. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to put any of those things out there. I just know Courtland Sutton is good and Courtland Sutton does not look good. So what's the problem? People say, well, it's fit. It's more fit with Russell Wilson. With Courtland Sutton, it's like, get open. That would be nice. And get that separation, because now all teams are doing with Courtland Sutton is they're jamming him at the line of scrimmage and they're taking away the timing of the route. And Sutton, who has never been a sudden athlete, that's not his game, but Sutton is struggling to shake free. And Russ is going to more open receivers like a Jerry Jeudy, like a KJ Hamler, more on Hamler in just a little bit. Because with KJ Hamler, it is a situation where those deep shots, those things are set up if you run the ball. Run the ball, set up those deep shots, and then get a team falling asleep. This offense, as we all know, is the Shanahan system. We know this, West Coast. We know wide zone, although they're not really running wide zone in the ground game. More on that in a little bit. But what do we need to see coming out of the bye? I need to see this team run the ball and show echoes in this offense. This offense has echoes within it. And again, we all remember the Mike Shanahan days where it's like curl route, curl route, curl route, curl and go, or hook and go, whichever one you prefer. But like you set it up, you make things look the same. And then the biggest kind of piece of modern NFL that you need to be is multiple. People say, versatility is the key. No, not necessarily. You need to be multiple. You need to be multiple, as I hack the English language regularly on all shows. But like, you need to look the same, but be able to run different plays from that same formation. So a defense is going to see the formation. They're going to know down and distance. Your smarter players, your more veteran players are going to be like, this is what they generally like to do. And you fooled them. Again, instead of that in-breaking route, now it's a go route. Now you're utilizing like a source of sail concepts. You're getting the ball downfield. You're getting explosive. This is where KJ Hamler comes in. And Jerry Jeudy is a big part of this as well. He can be explosive after the catch. We've seen that. His ball tracking could use a little bit of work. I'd like to see better my ball mentality. Courtland has the my ball mentality. Courtland needs a jump start. That's for sure. Because again, I think something's up with Courtland because he doesn't look like Courtland Sutton. That's not the 14 that we're normally used to seeing in a Broncos uniform. So to me, the wide receivers and the running backs hold the key, because Russell Wilson is hurt, and Russell Wilson, God bless him, he's going to try and he's going to go out there. And I was talking to an NFL executive today as I was going to Costco and I got a phone call from one of my buddies who's with another team. And we were talking about Russell Wilson last year, and Russell Wilson with the finger, like he should have never played. He should have never come back with that finger injury. As soon as he did, he looked crappy. And then like a few games later, he started to look better. Well, this hamstring, hopefully healing up and feeling good. And the lat injury, hopefully feeling good. So if you have as healthy as possible Russell Wilson coming out of the bye, You prevent Russell Wilson from playing hero ball by running the ball and setting up play action, which gives him the deep shots that he wants. And you can say, hey, Russ, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And we're going to get to you and those big plays. You are going to have plenty of opportunities to win games with your arm in this game. Just let it set up. Let the setup happen with Latavius Murray, hopefully, with Chase Edmonds, hopefully. And again, I'm not a Melvin Gordon fan. They should have never bought back Gordon. That's my opinion. He's here for now. So, use him. Just hang on to the ball. If he fumbles one more time, you get rid of him. If he fumbles one more time, you just cut him. And don't even let him finish the game. Just cut him. Tell him to go home. Because you have Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is a good potential starting running back, good all-purpose guy, 3-down guy. Chase Edmonds more of a receiving back, but he can work on 3 downs. I think he's underrated as a runner, honestly. A little tiny bit of Clinton Portis. I don't want anyone to be like, Cecil Lammey said he's Clinton Portis. No, he's not running for 1,500 yards like CP did in the day. And as a rookie, he did that by only starting in, I think it was week 5. So with the first month of the season, a 16-game season, didn't start. And then when he did, he took off. But there's shades, a little bit of just shadows, if you will, of a Clinton Portis with a Chase Edmonds. More of a receiving back, more of a back using space. Latavius Murray is a good, hammer, if you will, in a gap system, which they're using. They're using gap. They're not using wide zone necessarily. So again, who are you? To quote 89 Batman, like, who are you? Like, what are you? If you're the Broncos, are you wide zone team? You're supposed to be wide zone, but you're not running wide zone. So what's up? But either way, I don't care. Wide zone, gap, whatever. Murray's a gap runner. He can do zone as well. I think Gordon's better as a gap runner than he is as a zone runner. And Edmonds can do both as well, although I do like him in zone because of his patience, his burst, and his electricity with his feet as a runner. So set up Russell Wilson and get his feet correct. Play action passing can do that. Now, I know it's going to be a lot of shotgun in his hamstring and they don't want him dropping back as much. I get all these things. But when, again, more misconceptions about Russell Wilson, when people say he's blind, he can't see. Well, one, he's shorter than me and I'm 5'10". Okay. And I might have shrunk a little bit in my old age. So maybe at one time I was 5'11", but I remember when Russell Wilson puffed up to me at the Senior Bowl and stood up and puffed his chest to me because I asked him if he wanted to come to Denver and back up Tim Tebow. These are the questions, people. But when he did that, I was looking down at him. So I was like, oh, that's cute. And it's never happened. I've had players want to kick my ass before, but I've never had a player puff up to me in person until Russell Wilson. He's the only one. I've interviewed thousands of players. But when he did that, he was shorter than me and I'm not tall. So I was just like, okay. So can Russell Wilson see over the lineman? No, but neither could Drew Brees, right? You figure out a way to move the pocket. You get the hitches correct within your drop back or shotgun, whatever you're going to do with the quarterback. It's on the design of the offense. The hitches match the routes. And so many people don't get that. So when Russell Wilson misses a wide open KJ Hamler and everyone gets all pissed off and is like, oh, Russell Wilson, he sucks. He's terrible. I'm like, look at his feet. His feet weren't even pointing towards KJ at all within the design of the play. So why didn't they hitch him so he would have been hitched towards KJ? Because your eyes are going to follow your feet. Your feet have to be set up in order for you to hit these open guys. And are there, Greg Dulcich and everyone gets out the Sharpie and they screenshot and they circle Dulcich. He was wide open and Russell Wilson sucks. Hey, Twitter scout. Stop being a moron and actually do the research because Josh Allen is pretty good, right? Josh Allen, best in the league, number one in your hearts. Pat Mahomes, right? Pretty good. I can watch every game they play and do the circle. This wide open guy's missing. Watch his feet. His feet will tell you everything. Russell's feet are off within the design of this offense, within the hitches of the timing of these routes. The timing of the route means your feet need to be hitched to that timing, period. It will not work if you are not tying your feet to the timing of the route. If your receivers do not get separation off the line of scrimmage, Cortland Sutton, that's why you're hitching towards Sutton. There's the hitch. I'm off of him. Step, I'm off of him. I'm going to the next hitch. I'm going to the next read. It's not as simple as just looking at his head and your feet must lead the way. So Nathaniel Hackett, you got to have a better design. And you need to have a design that includes play action passing, that includes more Jerry Jeudy. And I can't believe I'm saying that at all, because I'm not going to say I don't like Jerry Jeudy, because that sounds personal. I don't like his wrong-headedness, if that's what it is, and I'm taking a guess. I don't like the way that, if he's not the number one target, he just is dialed out. Jerry Jeudy just doesn't pay attention and doesn't work as hard and doesn't run as crisp. If he's the number one and he knows he's getting the ball, then Jerry's pretty fired up. Jerry's ready to go. Well, dude, you got to do that all the time. Okay? You can't always be the guy. There's times when Sutton needs the ball. There's times when Dulcich needs the ball. He needs the ball more, by the way. There's times when KJ Hamler needs the ball. And Jerry, you got to sell it, because if I'm a defender, and again, I watch every play twice. I watch the coach's film on Exos. And Jerry Jeudy, if it's I'm going to make this comparison, and again, I don't want people saying like Cecil Lammey said he's Randy Moss, but like Randy Moss, when it wasn't coming to him, he'd kind of dog it a little bit, but that was Randy Moss. And when it did go to Randy Moss, he'd have 1,200 yards receiving, 1,500 yards receiving, what other number, his 100-yard game, couple 3 touchdowns. Jeudy doesn't give you that production. So Jeudy can't do the Randy Moss thing because he's not Randy Moss. Like, you don't stop pretending like I'm the man. No, you're fighting for your NFL career. So go out there and fight, because you know who has fight? You know who has dog? It's KJ Hamler. And that's why I want KJ Hamler to be rewarded with more passes, which is kind of the, it's the give and take in the NFL. If a guy does a really good job blocking, throw him the ball. KJ Hamler's out there digging guys out on that Jerry Jeudy touchdown. Stuff that Courtland Sutton is not doing. And again, I'm not saying it's Courtland. I think something's wrong with Courtland, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe Courtland Sutton just sucks now. I don't think so. I don't believe that. He can't have just lost it. Like, all of a sudden this year, and the last couple of weeks specifically, Sutton has just lost it. No, that doesn't make sense. When wide receivers do later in their careers, it falls off quickly. It really does. Remember Marvin Harrison. And no, Courtland Sutton's not Marvin Harrison, but when Marvin Harrison was balling out, just making plays, all of a sudden Marvin Harrison couldn't play. But that was year 10 or whatever it was, 15, 12, whatever the number. I don't even remember. But like, Courtland Sutton's still young-ish, kind of. And it's not going to fall off like that now. People blame the knee. Like, okay, maybe it is the knee, but maybe it's the knee today, not the knee from 2 years ago. Okay. So for me, what do we need to see? Obviously, offense, defense, you're fine. Special teams, you suck. Period. Sorry, Dwayne Stukes. I know D-Mac loves it because he gives the evil eye. Like Dwayne Stukes will give you the evil eye. Look in the mirror, dude. Your special teams unit sucks. Okay. You have a rookie kick returner, and Montrell Washington, he's the greatest ever. And listen, I hate bagging on Montrell, because I'm not bagging on Montrell as a man or as a football player. I just think it was the bad pick. It was a bad pick at the wrong time. And I get pissed off when people in the Denver media are like, it's a great move, and Russell Wilson went to Russell Wilson's not a scout. Okay. Like, when Pat Mahomes picked Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, how's that working out? He got replaced by Isaiah Pacheco, the 7th rounder that I wanted in the 5th round, instead of Montrell Washington. Isaiah Pacheco is the Chiefs starting running back. So their first rounder that Pat Mahomes handpicked, yeah, that guy's a backup. So how's that working out? I don't, tell me a little bit. Obviously, if Russell Wilson says something, hey, I like this, I like that. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, make better decisions with your football team, especially when your draft picks are limited, especially when you have to hit on mid and late round picks. You have to do that. Montrell Washington is just out of his element. He's trying to make big plays. He's trying to play hero ball. And he's a Division II kid. His head is spinning right now. Maybe one day he calms down. Maybe one day he gets it. Maybe one day he's better. That's not today. And again, I was super pissed off because there's people lying to you fans. I'm not going to lie to you fans. Am I going to be right about every player? No, of course not. I'm never going to say that. And then, when people are like, you think you're right all the time. No, I don't. In fact, I know. And that's the tightrope that you watch and that you walk as a draft analyst, is like, I know I'm not going to hit on everybody, and I need to know why. I need to investigate. I need to work as hard as possible. And that's my promise to you, the viewers and the listeners is like, no one's going to work harder than me when it comes to following the draft. Somebody calls me a basement scout right the other day on Twitter, which is a cesspool, by the way. Twitter's absolute worthless. I'm a big deal on Twitter. Yeah, I had a low member number on the X-Files chat room in the 90s. Okay, I'm a big deal. Anyway, like someone called me a basement scout. Well, okay, fine, cool. Yeah, basement scout, playing with my action figures. Sure, go for it. I'm thinking of the Spaceball scenes. Like, you didn't see me playing with my dolls. No, sir, I did not see you playing with your dolls. But either way, like, listen, there's a reason why I go to the Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl and the Combine and Pro Days and talk to coaches, talk to executives, talk to scouts. Like, there's a reason why I do that. If you want to call me basement scout, fine. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Peyton Manning likes me. But the thing that pisses me off the most is when people go to you, the viewers, or you, the listeners, as if you don't know football. And one thing I know about Broncos country, and every fan base has their, the guys that wear the hat with the 2 beers on the side with the straw. Okay, maybe you're not the greatest football fan. Maybe you're an alcoholic. That's just a guess. But either way, like, I know that there's a large segment of Broncos country that can smell BS. I know it because I've talked to enough of you guys. I know that Broncos country is a smarter fan base than other fans. There's bad fans out there, whatever. But when people in the Denver media are like, Montrell Washington tore up Florida, Florida sucks. The Gators suck, right? So stop trying to act like it's Danny Werfel out there or whatever. Like, Montrell Washington tore up the Gators, the one game. Was it Armani Edwards that tore up Michigan for Appalachian State? I think Armani's my Facebook friend. But either way, like, okay, let's just be honest about this thing. And Montrell Washington was a bad pick. He's a bad pick. He's not a good player. Doesn't fit. Special team sucks. Dwayne Stukes, you got a lot of work to do. So give the evil eye all you want, but look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, Dwayne Stukes, because that's what needs to happen. Special teams need to be better. But the offense, Ejiro Evero, please coach this team one day. Ejiro Evero, please, God, if you're listening, make Ejiro Evero the Broncos head coach. Please and thank you, Lord. Amen. Yeah, Ejiro Evero, he's got it on lock, right? And no matter if it's Randy Gregory when he's healthy and Baron Browning should be back after the bye and no Bradley Chubb, that's fine. They're going to be fine without Bradley Chubb, provided that everyone stays healthy. Obviously, you can only take so many injuries. But to me, like, the reason why I'm focusing on what needs to be different, I'm talking all about the offense and backing on special teams, is because the offense sucks, okay? The offense needs to be better. They can't even score 20 points a game. Are you kidding me? Pat Shurmur's somewhere making fun of this team. Pat Shurmur's awful, okay? He's a great guy, whatever I have to say. Like, it's never personal, but when I look at the results and, like, Pat Shurmur is terrible. And this offense is worse than that one. Justin Otten, what does he do? Nobody knows. He doesn't go home, I guess. And again, how's that working out for you? I hate to use Dr. Phil Barnyard psychology, but look at the results. Justin Otten, I don't go home. I don't leave the facility. Go home, dude. It's not working. Okay? Go take a breath. Relax. See your family, Like, there's some sort of pride. Like, I sleep at the facility. Yeah, so did John Gruden. Where's he at? Besides a golf course. Like, hey, Justin Otten, I don't sleep. Like, okay, maybe you should. Maybe you should. The results haven't been good. Now, when Kyle Shanahan does it, the results have been good. So Kyle's going to keep doing it because Kyle's a grinder and that's what he does. But it works. If you're grinding, it doesn't work. You got to figure out how to do something differently. You can't do the same old thing over and over. Nathaniel Hackett, same happy fun baby star. Oh, I'm always here. Like, maybe don't be. Maybe figure something else out. Maybe figure out how to delegate better. Maybe figure out how to be a real head coach. Nathaniel Hackett is the problem. Russell Wilson doesn't help because he's playing when he's hurt, and Russell Wilson needs to be better. So it's really funny because I get accused of being like a Russell Wilson honk, which I'm not. I get accused of like hating Russell Wilson when it seems like I'm the only defender of him on the station at times. But either way, like, I just want to tell the truth because you guys are smart. You guys know this isn't good enough. Every Broncos fan out there knows this isn't good enough. This product is bad. This product needs to be better. How do they do that? Starts on the offense. Run the hell out of the ball, sap the will of your opponent, and then play action, please. Greg Dulcich, please. KJ Hamler, please. Yes, Jerry Jeudy. Yes, Jerry Jeudy. And, whatever happens with Jerry Jeudy, I don't think it's going to end positively in terms of the Broncos because they already paid Tim Patrick. They already paid Cortland Sutton. I don't know how they even should pay Jerry Jeudy, and they likely won't. We'll see what the decision is on his fifth-year option. But either way, like, if Jeudy is inspired because you're actually using him, then use him some more. See if he can get inspired some more. See if that opens things up for Cortland Sutton. And this is why I get pissed off when Nathaniel Hackett, first off, he's a little bit too honest as a head coach sometimes. And then secondly, he thinks you're dumb. And again, I don't make that assumption. In fact, I go the opposite way. I'm like, I know Broncos country is really smart. Nathaniel Hackett thinks you're dumb because he's like, we didn't run a lot of plays. Why didn't Melvin Gordon get used? We didn't run a lot of plays. 32 plays. Yeah, we know. You're lying, Nathaniel Hackett. When Hackett says, well, Cortland Sutton's getting double teamed a lot. No, he isn't. The coach's film is accessible. And I know people in the NFL that do not like the fact that fans can watch coaches' tape. Because coach's tape will tell you the story. They'll tell you the truth. Watch the safeties. Safeties will always tell you what's going on in the play. So to me, I look at it and I go, well, Nathaniel Hackett, don't lie to the fans. People in the Denver media, don't lie. Montreal Washington's a great pick. No, it's not. There were better players out there. Delarian Turner-Yell can't even get on the field. And Tariq Woolen, who was picked right after him, is Defensive Rookie of the Year. He gets a pick in every single game. I think he didn't get a pick last game, but he got like 5 picks this year, whatever. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, you made a mistake. And if you're honest, you can say that. And if you're just trying to lie to the fans, you'll be like, it's George Payton does everything right. George Payton, I believe in, but I'm not going to just blow bubbles at George Payton and drop down and say he's the greatest ever. No, not at all. And it doesn't mean I know better. Of course not. Jesus, Lord above. Like George Payton's forgotten more about football than I'll know. But I also know, like, I'm not taking a Division II return guy above a running back who runs 4.2 and above a 6'4" corner that runs 4.2. Anyway, what needs to be different for the Denver Broncos? Obviously, the offense. Coming out of the bye, you have 3 winnable games. The Titans, Derrick Henry's banged up. Now, I haven't checked the injury report today to see if he practiced today, but he didn't practice Thursday. And he's coming off like a 30-carry, 200-yard game. By the time you get to the Titans, maybe Derrick Henry's not starting. And hopefully he is. Love King Henry, whatever is whatever. The Raiders suck. They're slappies. And then the Panthers, they're playing good football without Christian McCaffrey. So that's odd. But Dante Foreman's running the ball well. Chuba Hubbard should be back for them this week. They have some young assets, a Terrace Marshall, stuff like that. And PJ Walker, who does work out in Colorado sometimes. PJ Walker's decent. He's not great, but he's fine. Keeping Baker Mayfield on the bench, which probably he's keeping Uncle Rico on the bench. That probably doesn't say a whole lot, but what needs to be better? The offense. Special teams sucks. They need to be better. But even if they're not, and your offense is better, that's the difference. Because if they were scoring 20 points a game, not 24, not 28, if this team was at 20 points a game, what would they be? 7-1, whatever. Like, we'd be having a lot different conversations, to be sure. So coming out of the bye, what needs to be better? The Broncos offense, obviously. Set things up for Russell Wilson, run the ball, have echoes, make sure your offense rhymes, have these echoes in the offense, fool a defense, set up those deep shots. KJ Hamler is a weapon. Use him. Greg Dulcich is a weapon. Use him. Football is beautiful for many, many reasons. And there are many reasons why I love it. One, it's incredibly complicated yet simple all at the same time. It's beautiful. There's elements of, strategy, and there's grace involved in this game, supreme athleticism, brutality, and violence that make some people uncomfortable. But like, football is this mixture of everything, and it's a beautiful game. Beautiful. And I feel like that guy in Clerks. It's beautiful, man. It was a snowball. Probably can't go into that story on this show. But anyway, it's Orange and Blue today. Andrew Mason was on assignment. I think I'm on assignment Monday. I'll have to check my schedule. But either way, we're here for you every day at 3:30 talking Broncos with you. Broncos, go be better and go be awesome. Coming out of the bye, this team has a chance to turn it around. and totally redeem themselves. Well, a little bit anyway. They have a chance to look better. This team is better than their record, although your record you are what your record says you are. True, Bill Parcells. But I know the talent is there. I don't think the coaching is there. We'll see if that changes. I'm Cecil Lammey saying, be safe, be kind, know that you are appreciated. Stay tuned, and I command that you stay frosty.